You didn't answer that question.
Babe, what do you mean how to get on his face? It shoots everywhere. If you don't hold your penis down, it goes wild.
It's gotta be stuck in the bottle.
You think I don't know this?
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh.
Hello, my name is Mrs. Melanin.
And I'm Belief Mel.
And we are here with episode 229 of How Married Are You?
Okay, my name is Belief. This is E-Baby. Married 14 years. Living in California, we got four
kids.
Relationships scary. It's very necessary. We share love our struggles. We ask how married are you? Every Tuesday and Thursday, shoddy. If you're listening, you're in a wedding party. It's okay if you want to put your hands up. You got the questions. We got the answers.
It's chocolate baby story time.
Chocolate baby story time.
It's chocolate baby story time.
1, 2, 3, and
it's chocolate baby story time.
Our children. Can we talk about our children?
Let's do it.
So y'all, we've been going through it with our children. We went to Maryland. We were there for too long, really. It was a nice time, but we were there for too long.
Staying with your brother was just amazing.
It was so fun. However, we came back and ish hit the fan, if you know what I mean. We came back and I think, I'm not sure what happened, but Theo has a pre-existing venous malformation in his left knee. And flying from Maryland to California is a long flight. And so when we got off the plane, Theo could not walk. We had to sit at the gate before we could even go to baggage claim because he was experiencing some whatever. And I think it was because he was sitting so long without moving his leg. So that was one thing. And so that's an ongoing thing. We've had to have ultrasounds and x-rays. We have an MRI scheduled in a week or two. And it's just a lot going on there. And we're a little concerned, but he's handling it so well. He's very, he's like, whatever I got to do to make sure I make it to the NHL, let's do that. He's like, if that means I miss out on this hockey season, so be it. But I don't want to risk it. And then shortly after we got back from Maryland, and I'm assuming Raya contracted some sort of whatever from the airplane or from our time in Maryland. I don't know what happened. But this boy wakes up one morning and he comes out. Did he say, I'm ugly? Or was that something Anaya said?
No, that's
something. He basically, he had bumps and stuff all over his face, all over his arms, on the back of his legs. And I was like, this don't look like eczema. Because at first I thought it was eczema. But he's like, it's itchy and yada, yada, yada. And so we started doing some research, ended up taking him to urgent care. This guy has chicken pox. Chicken pox. And, we got a family of 6. And these children are very hands-on.
Yeah.
They are very hands-on. So I was trying to keep my distance from Ryan. I don't think I hugged him at all during the time that he had chicken pox. Mm-hmm. And I felt bad about it, but I was like, bro, I don't have time for this. Well, then Uzi gets it. And for some reason, me and Uzi just can't stay apart. Yeah. So then guess who gets it?
Yeah.
Me.
Yes.
I got chicken pox.
No self-control. We talked about that on episode 227.
We did talk about it a little bit. But what I'm saying is, y'all, these children, they have so many ailments, and it's been taking me through the ringer. I feel like maybe you've been through the ringer, but I am just done. And so I'm really excited to leave this week to go to the Wild and Free Homeschool Conference.
I can't wait to hear about this.
In Franklin, Tennessee. I think it'll be a nice time. This is not Chocolate Baby story time. You go ahead.
Well,
I was about to say a bunch of stuff.
Well, I just wanted to say that, so what that meant, right? When we got back from Maryland, me and Uzi went up to
LA.
We went to John Legend's house. I was in John Legend's house. It just was, to me, I just was like, I'm not supposed to be here. You know what I'm saying? Not because I got some imposter syndrome. Just because, why is John Legend let me in his house?
He literally had a play date with John Legend.
A beautiful home. Beautiful home. Great vibes, very respectful people. It was just awesome, right? We were there with Fisher Price and John Legend. It was dope. We're on the way up there, and Uzi, you know, when Uzi has to go to the bathroom, he tells us, like, while the pee is coming from his bladder to the urethra.
It's very last minute.
You know
sometimes.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, okay. So I grab a bottle and I'm trying to stick it back there. This dude, I'm driving on the freeway, getting the bottle in the thing. You know, he's got his thing in there, and I turn away for 1 second to look back at the road, and pee is up my arm, on my neck. He goes, "It's on my face!" And I'm screaming.
How is it on his face?
He's screaming, and it's everywhere. And I'm just like, oh my gosh! And I'm talking to Yvette, I'm like, he just peed all over me.
How is it on his face? You didn't answer that question,
babe. What do you mean? How to get on his face? It shoots everywhere. If you don't hold your penis down, it goes wild.
It's gotta be stuck in the bottle.
You think I don't know this?
Oh my god.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, so after all that, like, Yvette gets back. All the kids have chicken pox. Oh,
No,
Raya has
Uzi.
Raya has chicken pox. Uzi gets it a little bit later. We don't know it's chicken pox. We think it's, I don't know what we think it is.
Well, we knew it was, I took him to urgent care and they said it was either chicken pox or the measles.
Yeah, Raya was like, look, man. I was like, man, it could be monkey pox. Like, I was tripping.
Glenn was doing a lot.
So then Raya was like, I was like, Raya, go outside and take the trash out or something like that. He was like, I can't go outside with my face like this. He was so hurt by how he looked. It was crazy. So then Uzi, like, he gets it. We figure out, we don't know what if it's chickenpox or not. And then Theo has this leg thing. So it's an episode of The Office where Dwight has a concussion and Michael Scott burns his foot on a George Foreman grill because he wanted bacon in the morning. And Dwight is going in to get a CAT scan. And Michael Scott is like, can you put my foot in there? And they're like, no. And he sticks his foot inside of the thing while he's in there. And we had to, like, kind of double team the urgent cares. So he was like, look, while we here, he got something going on with him. You know what I'm saying?
I was trying to get a 2-for-1, but they would not do that. They charged me for both them boys. And then they sent me to the emergency room because that's where I could get the imaging that I needed done.
For Theo's.
And then they got the imaging done, and then the orthopedist was like, well, you got to get an MRI.
Yeah, and we're out here on the farm. And so once Yvette started popping up with symptoms, she's like, let me take a couple of these pills. We're chopping up Raya's pills, giving them to Uzi. Oh. It's so crazy. I'm like, what are we doing here? This is not good, right? This is not good, but whatever.
And then I had to take an L, y'all. I had to take an L because Glenn and I had plans to go to New York to go to the U.S. Open.
Oh, my dream. That was a dream of mine.
Listen, I bought those tickets for him for Christmas. I had been looking forward to going to the U.S. Open for 9 months, y'all. 9 months I was talking about this trip. I was telling people, yeah, I'm going to New York, going to New York, going to New York. Found childcare for the kids, all the things. And then these children and their issues. And I did not get to go to New York. Mm-hmm. I stayed behind. I took the L because I was like, I'm not going to infect anybody else's child with chickenpox. And I didn't want anybody else to have to deal with Theo and his leg and stuff. So I stayed behind. And you want to know something that's really crazy? Raya, by the time the weekend came, Raya didn't have chickenpox and Theo was able to at least walk without crutches. And those guys got to go to a Forrest Frank concert. So on the same night that my husband was at the U.S. Open, where I should have been, I let these two boys, I let these two boys go to the Forrest Frank concert while I was at home beginning to have the beginning symptoms of the chicken pox, which is crazy. I was like, the Lord works in mysterious ways for sure.
I'm so sorry. Yeah, I had a great time. I linked up with the homie Kier Gaines. Some of y'all know Kier, amazing man, brother of mine. Super dope dude. We ended up going together. You know what I'm saying? And it was a couple times kind of like, hey man, it's a little too romantic, man. You know what I'm saying? It was funny. We had a great time. It was super fun.
Oh my goodness.
So thank you so much, babe, for sending me to the US Open.
Of course.
That was a dream of mine, and I can't wait to go back.
I'm going
with
next year.
We have to go again. Like,
hopefully we can afford it next year.
Yeah. We got to afford it this year, so we can go next year. But yeah, we're going to have to take the whole family
To the U.S. Open?
Yeah, somewhere in that area so that we don't have to get childcare like that. Anyway, maybe we'll be in the RV. We'll see. Anyway, welcome Black, man.
Welcome Black.
It's episode 228. I don't even know.
No, it's not. It's episode 229, my love.
Oh, okay, sorry. Let me my notes.
This is episode 229. We love that you are here, that you are either watching or listening. At this moment, we want to inform you about the like button. Make sure you go ahead and tap on the like button. We want to also let you know that there is a subscribe button here on YouTube that you could subscribe to the podcast. And if you are on your favorite podcast app, you can follow or subscribe, whatever they call it, when you press that button on the podcast app. We want you to do that. And we just found out that Spotify now has comments, so you can leave us comments there. And Glenn will make sure that he is diligent about checking those comments. I'm just kidding. Sometimes I'll hop in there too. I need to do that better with the comments. I apologize because y'all be really talking out there. Like I was looking at one episode and I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't even realize there was this many comments here. So I will try to do better at that. But yeah, y'all, we so appreciate your time and your energy that you're spending in listening to this podcast. We know you could be listening to anything else and giving your attention to anyone else. And we do not take that for granted. So we thank you for being here. And
yeah. So we're about to get into another email. But before we do, episode 228, last episode, we got into it about a relationship that may have been lacking boundaries. It was a long voicemail. A young man finally got some groomsmen sending some voice memos.
Yes,
so that's
we
what's
love
up.
That.
So he was sending this message about this woman that he had in his life, was a really good friend of his, and his fiance wasn't really feeling their relationship. And she was like, "You gonna choose her or me?" And it got a little interesting there. So we gave our 2 cents. If you guys have that situation, know somebody dealing with that, make sure you go back and listen to episode 228.
And maybe even leave some of your experience in the comment section. I love when you guys share your stories because I do believe that helps other people in the wedding party.
Welcome, Black. I know it's been a minute. This is a little commercial, a little advertisement real quick. We have something so special for you this Thursday, all right? And only this Thursday, okay? October 17th through the 22nd, we have the Hope collection dropping. You guys know we used to drop clothes all the time and we had to stop because we couldn't guarantee that you guys would get your stuff on time. But now we have a situation. No, seriously, the last drop we did it took like 6 months for people to get their stuff.
The last drop was very painful.
It was very painful. It was hard to be a part of. Right? Yes. Hard to put my name on it. But now we have a system of people that are close to our home, close to family, and we have a great situation going on. So we have the Hope collection dropping. Okay, we are rocking some of the shirts today. Also, if you paid attention to Tabitha Brown, you will see it on her post as well. We sent a couple creators some, like press packages. So if you guys see them on social media, make sure you get it now. Now, the reason why we're doing this, and we usually drop around this time, is because it's the 9-year anniversary of the beginning.
9 years?
9 years, right? Belief in Fatherhood has been rocking since for 9 years.
I didn't realize it was
How Married Are You's been going since 2018, which would be 6 years. It's been quite a journey, and so we wanted to do something very special and provide a little bit of hope, right? We equip fathers, give hope to mothers, and inspire children. So if you guys identify with us as the wedding party, this is your time to reinvest back into what we do by supporting us for the Hope collection. It's only open 5-6 days?
It's open from Thursday to Monday.
Thursday to Monday, that's it. If you're hearing it now, buy it now. If you did not get it at all and you missed it and you're listening to this several days in the future, many moons after this, make sure you sign up for our email list on our website so that you can be up to date with the drops. Okay, we want to make sure you guys are getting the stuff as we drop it. Okay, so back to the episode, but thank you guys so much for supporting us. We respect and love you very much. How do we sign off on this? How married are you? Let's go.
Change is good.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the promo. Okay, we'll clip that and I'll go. Absolutely. So let's hop into this next email. I don't know how this might be a short one, but let's go ahead and hop into it.
This is a short email, but it's pretty heavy topic, I think. Or I don't know how heavy, but it's heavy. Parenting interracial children.
Yeah.
Hey y'all. I am so-and-so from so-and-so. My beautiful wife and I have been married for 7 years and counting.
Another guy.
Yeah. My wife's father is from Mexico. Her mother is Black and I am white. We have had our own share of struggles being in an interracial I'm sorry. I can read. We have had our own share of struggles being an interracial couple. As time went on, scales of ignorance were shed off concerning race and racism. Now we have a beautiful baby boy named, he is 7 months old and all rolls. Oh my goodness. He's not 7 months anymore. So this was
February.
He's definitely like 1 year old or older now. I understand that he will have to go through trials that I've never experienced. I can see when some people say things that are already a little jabby, and I think to the day I will have to explain to him that life for me and him is different because of the ignorance of others. As a white man, I'm striving to teach and guide my interracial son to know he is made perfectly by God. He is made perfectly by God who put every detail of him in the works. I'm just nervous and lost on how to communicate that to him. Any advice?
I didn't get
you
it.
Missed it? Okay. So basically,
Uzi was breathing right in my ear. You know how you tell secrets and it's all hot and moist?
What did he want? Is he hungry?
He asked if he can make himself
Did
some
he
cereal.
just wake? He looked like he just wake up?
Yeah.
Did you tell him to take off his diaper?
Yeah.
And for anybody talking about him being in a diaper, he sleeps in a diaper at nighttime, but he's not in a diaper during the day. And we have not trained him yet, but the time is coming soon. Okay?
Who's
so don't
supposed
judge.
to train him?
You, the guy who has him peeing in his face.
All right, so let me say this. I'm going to set a goal.
By the end of the year?
Nah. Just give me 2 weeks.
Starting when?
He'll be fully trained.
Starting when?
By episode 233, he'll be fully. Mark my words. Mark my words, because I don't play around. I got this.
All right. So speaking of children and sons, this young man, I don't know if he's young, but this man has a child who is about a year, and him and his wife have already had to navigate some challenges being in an interracial relationship. He, as a white man, is wondering how does he begin to communicate to his son in a way that allows him to have pride in who he is as a half white, quarter Mexican, quarter black child, because he's already heard people say things that are a little jabby toward his son, even at that age.
Because of what?
Because of his race.
Because of his complexion?
Well, that part is not clear. It says, and I think to the day I will have to explain to him that life for me and him. Oh, so maybe he's talking about that life for him, for the two of them, how they navigate, how they have to go through the life in this world is different because he's a white man and his son is not, or his son is.
I don't know. You wanted me to talk about this?
I feel like he's saying, like, I basically think he's trying to say, like, I'm just nervous and lost on how to communicate that to him. First of all, I feel like he's only a year old. So I don't think the communication has to be explicit. Mm-hmm. But I do believe that there are things we do as parents to create a sense of pride in our children and let them know that so I'll speak to this. Goodness gracious. I feel like for us, we have 4 very chocolate babies. So we have our village, our community of people that we do life with. There are several interracial couples, right? Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So their children's complexion is much lighter than our children. And I don't know that we have very many black on black families in our close-knit community that our children do life with and interact with on a regular basis. And as a result, we have had conversations where I feel like our children, and we live in California, and we live in Southern California, and we live in a place that is predominantly white. So you guys have heard us talk about this. I've always been desirous of community for my children where they can see other chocolate babies that look like them. However, that has not necessarily been their norm on a regular basis. And so they have this thing where they feel, well, the topic has come up where they feel like they are not even normal. Like they feel like they're the oddballs because all of their friends are genuinely the same complexion. because they have Mexican friends and then they have white friends who are really tan in Southern California, you know? And so they feel like, why are we the only ones that like stand out in this way?
Black on black.
And so, I feel like we've done a really good job of doing like affirmations. Glenn does that really well with the kids while he's cutting their hair, or even in the mirror in the morning when he's with the kids. And they've gotten to a place where they take pride in their brown skin. Two kids that stand out to me when it comes to this is Anaya and Uriah. I feel like those two children, you can't tell them nothing about who they are. We just came back, like I said, from Maryland, and I remember Uriah going, there's a lot of black people here. And he's like, I like it. You know, and Anaya is always enamored when she sees other black little girls and people that look like her and have her hair and wear their hair differently. And so I think it's a matter, it's not, and I guess we have been intentional about pointing out their black skin and how beautiful it is. And I do believe that that's okay to do. But I think that it's something that we just have to continue to affirm our children in a way that allows them to walk confidently in the world. And so I do believe acknowledging, because I think some people think, oh no, we don't need to point out that they're black or they're white. But I think that's silly, because that is a beautiful aspect of who people are, is like the way their melanin resonates in their skin and the way their hair curls or falls straight or whatever the case may be. And so I think, I don't know how it is for men though, but for me, I feel like that is something that I do. Like I'll go up to the boys and I'll touch their face and I'll be like, oh my gosh, you have the most beautiful chocolate skin, or I love your hair when it does this. And even if their hair isn't in perfect form. And I will say that this is something that I'm working on, because I feel like Anaya, lately she's been saying this thing to me and I'm like, okay, Lord. But she goes, Mom, it's just hair. Because she's not wanting to wear her hair in braids as much anymore. She wants to wear it natural more. Like a fro. And so sometimes when we're going out, I'm like, hey, let's like spray it and make it look presentable. Put a headband on. And she's like, Mom, why does my hair always have to look nice? And I'm like, ooh, child. Yeah. And I honestly, I'm still trying to figure out how to have that conversation and how to have a lot of conversations with Anaya, to be completely honest, because the girl really is just confident in who she is and how she looks no matter what. She just knows she's beautiful. And so I do know the intentional things that we've done to help create that in her, or to help form that in her. But also she's goals, because for me, I haven't had a retwist in a minute and I'm feeling some kind of way when I step outside the door. My eyebrows haven't been shaped in months. And I'm like, oh Lord, I'm about to go out and be around people. I don't want to be seen like this. Yeah. But if it were Anaya, she'd be like, I am fearfully and wonderfully made. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know how it is for men. That's why I was feeling like you would be better to speak into this man's life.
Yeah, I think, I feel like you're a little early to this conversation. I think this is a projection and almost like something that you're kind of like, you're highly sensitive to it because you recognize the awareness. But I'm sure in this stage, there's so many other things that come before this conversation, especially how was he, 10 months, 7 months, right? Before you really have to start navigating this stuff. I think the kids first notice a difference, Theo and Uriah first notice a difference about complexion. 3 or 4. You know what I'm saying? So we're black people, right? We had a video a while ago where they were trying to understand, like, why are we called black people and we're not the color black, right? Or like our skin is brown, and you know what I'm saying? Like those type of things. So you do have a little bit of time. I think it's so cool that you're aware of this. You know what I'm saying? And I think most people who step into interracial relationships or who adopt black children need to understand the value of pursuing a culture, right? Pursuing a culture you don't have proximity to. This has been something that's really been deep on our hearts, because Yvette has always said, hey, our children need more representation. They need more black friends. Because we are in a place where they are the oddball. In Southern California, in our friend group, they are the only kids that look like them. You know what I'm saying? And so in order for us to like put that, change that perspective, because what happened with me, and I was around a lot of black people when I was a kid, because I lived in, Baltimore County, specifically Randallstown, in 1990 or in 1985 or whenever I was growing up or whatever. I had so much representation around me, but anytime I turned on the TV, there was all my heroes were white. Like I was a Saved by the Bell type of kid, like Zach Morris, and you know what I'm saying? Like I'm always watching Saved by the Bell, and it was like, it wasn't enough representation. You know what I'm saying? Now, by the time I got a little bit older and I could really see the Cosby Show for what it was, R.I.P., and then, see Martin and the Fresh Prince, like those things were really important to me. But there wasn't a lot of aspirational things that for me that showed black life, like superheroes, etc. That's why we do what we do as far as our sister channel, Belief in Fatherhood, which is just document black life in a real way so that you can see just regular black people living. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't have to be overwhelmingly, produced or anything like that. It's just black life on display. A husband, a wife really trying to love each other, love their children really trying to coexist, really trying to find their identity and all these different things, having the deep conversations about, their complexion, because there was a time where Uriah said, hey, I want to be white, or, Theo's, I want my skin like his friend. No one wants to be the oddball out. No one wants to be the one that looks different. And there's a lot of shame that comes from the black community, people online who've said, you need to move. Da-da-da-da-da. All your friends are white, blah, blah, blah. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just kind of like, it doesn't mean we have to change our entire lives. It just means we have to work differently, right? We have to work from a place of like, hey, here's how we can show black life on display. Here's the friends we are intentionally making outside of our normal friend group. Here's where we're going. Here's what we're watching. Here's the roots and the history of what, this is. And I feel like we have done a good job of that. You know what I'm saying? And it's not so much intentional being like, okay, well, you spend 75% of your time with white people, so now you have to watch the roots. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like that. You know what I mean? It is like in our regular conversation, we talk about blackness. We talk about, black life. We see black people. We have made intentional relationships with black people that have allowed them to be like, oh my gosh, like this is really dope. You know what I mean? And so that is intentional, right? And so you, as an interracial, as a father of an interracial son, I don't know how that works. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. But like a mixed kid, I think it's important, and I love his name, by the way. I know we didn't say it on the thing, but I love his name. You have 3 different cultures to cover, right? You have a white culture to cover, you know what I'm saying? And whatever that is, I don't know what white culture is, you know what I'm saying? But I know that you probably know. So good, you're good with that. But I know there is a deep history in, was it Mexican?
In Mexico all right, I don't know what kind of black her mom is, like what her nationality is.
Yeah, so Mexican and black culture, right? So that comes in display when we're talking the easiest way to do it for me is food, right? Like black culture, Mexican culture, we have different types of food, right? And this is one thing that I love, excuse the political climate right now, but I'm talking about Kamala Harris, where, people wonder like, oh man, is she Indian or is she black? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you can be 2 things. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Both and.
Both and, right? Like he can be 2, 3 different cultures all in one. And that is a beautiful melting pot. You know what I'm saying? For him to experience. Now for the parents, it's going to take more work. You have to be more intentional. You have to be more patient, right? You're going to have to understand that he's going to gravitate toward whoever he's around, right? But I wouldn't over analyze like how you're doing, right? But I would say make it a part of your culture. Right now, as a homeschooling father, I have to like, I'm so sorry, right? Because Yvette has been killing homeschool for a long time, right? my perspective on her, she's been killing homeschool for a long time. And I just kind of got here and I'm like, woo, right? It's party time. And the reason why I'm so like excited about school is because I'm trying to learn again from their perspective and be excited about it. And you have to be excited about the different cultures that you're in. It's almost like you're doing a research project and you want to taste the chicken. I mean, the difference between, you know, pollo asada and, you know, baked macaroni and cheese and grilled, and baked chicken. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to have to merge those different things. It's going to take a lot more work. As a homeschooling parent, we got to do a lot more work trying to talk about education all day. You know what I'm saying? School was supposed to be happening during the day yesterday. You know what I'm saying? But I was like, oh, shoot, it's a lunar eclipse and the kids supposed to be learning about the lunar phases. And it's about to be a lunar eclipse tonight. It's a late night homeschool. We're going to be outside looking at the moon till the moon go away. Anyway.
Yeah, I also think like little things you can do is being very intentional about the shows that they watch, that he gets to watch, being very intentional about his library and making sure that in the books that you guys are reading to him that he gets to see a mix of Mexican culture, Black culture, and even white culture. Like, I think the biggest thing that I have seen for children and even for myself is just being able to see yourself in other people. Someone just recently sent Glenn a picture of their little boy dressed up, like geared out in hockey. And so often people like are, oh, you guys are monetizing your children, or you shouldn't have your children up on the internet. And I will say that I've allowed people's voices to kind of get into my head and make me begin to question what it is that God has called us to do. And I'm kind of done with that because I do feel like within reason, and of course, I believe that the Lord is going to continue to guide us on this journey with discernment and wisdom and wise counsel. But that really touched my heart because her little boy saw Theo playing hockey as a Black little boy and was like, I can do that too. Or like, I'm interested in doing that, or I want to try that out, or whatever the case may be. And so that was like, it was beautiful to see because it was like our children are now like
being the proof.
They are now the representation that we've been so intentional about providing for them, if that makes sense. And so I just think that's really important for you to think about as you guys are navigating like what media you are using to engage with your child.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I just want to second that. And I think that was a great point. How married are you? It's a short one today, but you know, you gotta get these get through them. You know what I'm saying? Make them count. All right, so challenges. Let's ask the questions, right? If you are right in the comment section, I don't care if it's on YouTube or on the podcast platform. If you are a mixed race person, what are some things that your parents did to affirm different parts of your, identity? What were those things? We're asking this because we do have a lot of people that cross over into being like mixed race or just white or Black or whatever, right? And we notice this, and I think that's because we're Christians, right? So it's a lot of different types of people that rock with us. You know what I'm saying? So I want to know more about what you guys are doing well, and then I also want to know if you feel like you were only embraced by one side of your culture, right? And it was overconsumed on a different side. What were those things that, like, man, I would not do this if I were you? We need your tips because we're not experts on interracial relationships or mixed race children. We know what it feels like to have Black children among mixed race, and it's not a bad thing. You know what I'm saying? But we have to overcompensate sometimes for the lack of identity that we want to see. And man, God has given us so much grace. Man, like just the friends we've made in the past year. Like I don't know if you guys remember, probably around episode 99 or somewhere around there, around that season of episodes, maybe 85 or 102. Yvette was talking a lot about,
get me out of here.
I need black people. I need black friends. I need more black friends. And sometimes people email like, I'm black. You know what I'm saying? Like, I can be your friend, you know.
And honestly, from sharing that, I did get a few emails, and I have made a couple of connections as a result of that. So, yeah. Are you done? I'm sorry.
I am done.
Okay.
I'm done.
I don't want to cut you off. And this person, I don't think shared their email with it being, with the intention of it being read. But I've been communicating back with her, and I just want to read this to encourage you, because it encouraged me. Yeah, it encouraged me as well. This is a couple that is also a mixed race couple. And I'm not going to give too many details because, again, this was for us, but I am going to read this, and I think it's okay. Okay. So this couple, they are interracial as well. I'm not going to give away their race because it's actually very unique. But they are interracial, and they have been dealing with some challenges related to that. She also shares that neither one of them is a practicing Christian. But this is what she said. She said, I love listening to you both speak to each other on certain topics. I found the topic, why we only date Black people, relevant, not because of the color and the community of understanding, but because of the cultural differences you have to deal with when you date outside of your race. And she's speaking from her own experience. I am dealing with that right now with my husband. He knew who he was marrying, but seems to keep expecting me to morph into, should I read this part?
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. To morph into subservient Middle Eastern wife who can cook a large, satisfying meal, host a large gathering with grace, speak softly, and not give away any drama the family may be dealing with, dress well, and present a clean appearance, value financial success, and aim for a respectful job title that will make the family proud. Can you tell that I disagree with a lot of the cultural ideas that I didn't marry him because of his culture? I also listened to the final episode where you two speak openly to each other. I was excited to finally hear you both get real with each other, get heated. But I was disappointed. You two were calm. You listened. You didn't accuse. You didn't raise voices or get defensive. You may have thought you did, but oh man, it sounded like a kind of productive, loving conversation. And the fact that you both seemed to think it wasn't made me really question what the heck I'm doing with my husband. Our hard conversations about our feelings and discussing difficult topics do not go that smoothly at all. We are currently seeking professional help. And so I'm sharing this because of the fact that, like, first of all, she's not necessarily who I would have packaged as a member of our wedding party. Mm-hmm. And
demographic.
As our demographic, yeah. And also because, I don't know, like, we can, because sometimes I'm like, oh, we can't speak to interracial relationships, but obviously we can in some way, even though we are a Black on Black couple. And then also I wanted to share with you guys an update because she went on to talk about some of the challenges that they are dealing with. But then I responded to her email, and then she responded and she was like, this past weekend we got to attend a couples retreat, and she goes, we reconnected and remembered that we are good together and we are a good match. We just have gotten into bad habits that are not good for our marriage. The things we took away from the retreat struck a chord with both of us, and we agreed that the lessons and tools they gave us were useful, and we committed to trying to incorporate them moving forward. And so for me, I think too, sometimes you guys, like when we get into these moments of where it's like, it's tense, like there's a lot of there's a lot of spats and this, that, and the other. It is nice to regroup and just go spend some time with each other.
Yeah,
and
even if it's the last thing you want to do sometimes.
Even if it's the last thing you want to do. We went to Maui in when did we go?
That was 2022.
22? I think it was 22 as well. Glenn and I went to Maui, just the two of us. And right before that, we were mad at each other to the point where I was like, it was May. It was for your birthday. Wasn't it?
It's like, maybe I just won't go. Maybe I just won't go.
I was like, I just won't go then. You go by yourself.
And you know what's crazy?
What? You didn't want me to go.
It's not that. You weren't invited. You remember? He don't want me to go with him, therapist.
Yeah. Anywho, and so we were really upset with each other. And then honestly, that trip goes down as one of the best times I've had with my husband. Oh, yeah. And at the end of the trip, we ended up fighting again. But still, that time together was valuable and important. And I think that we just have to do that. Sometimes we just need to take a time out. We need to put ourselves in time out together. So that we can regroup and be reminded of like how much we love and adore each other. Yeah. And I don't know. I started sharing that email because of the interracial conversation, and then it just went a whole different place.
No, I think that's really good. I think that, and this is taking a little bit of a turn here, right? But I do want to say that therapy, right? Therapy. I was talking to my stepmom, my stepmom. And she was I was telling her like how great therapy has been. And, she was taking me from the airport. She was bringing me and Uzi back to her house when we got back from Maryland. And she was like, therapy has given us so many different routes to take to get to the same destination. And sometimes you just need more lanes, right? Like, obviously, if we want to get from San Diego to Oceanside, we can take the coaster, right? We can take the 5, we can take the 16 to the 163 to the 78. Like, it would take longer, right? But we have different routes. We can also charter a helicopter. We could ride a bike. We could, take the RV. Like, it's different ways. You know what I'm saying? You could take the 101. You know what I'm saying? The Coast Highway all the way up. Like, there's different ways you can get there. And I think that is what therapy has taught us. And I don't know if we've had arguments like the ones we've had on this podcast.
Sometimes I want to delete those. I hope people aren't stuck there.
Yeah, I mean, it's problematic. Like, I'm definitely getting canceled if that was taken out of context and all you see is that and you don't see like the growth. Oh, it's whatever. How married are you?
You were saying something before that.
I don't remember. Yeah, different routes.
Oh, did you finish your thought?
No. That's fine.
I want to say this too. You can be a Christian and go to therapy. I just want to say that. Like, therapy is a tool, you know what I'm saying, that the Lord has given us. And so I don't want anyone to make you believe that you can't do both. And that's all I have to say about that. I probably have some more to say about that.
You have so much more.
I'm not ready to say it yet. What did you say? How married am I? I'm married. Okay, so recently Glenn purchased us, which was super sweet, a new portable phone charger. However, the portable phone charger didn't necessarily come with like cords or anything. And so I was like, well, let me go find a cord that I can use to like plug into it. And I found these cool cords where you can change it from USB to Lightning and then from USB to USB-C. Did I use the right language? And I was going to buy one for me. And I didn't just buy one for me. I bought one for my husband too. Because thoughtfulness is close to godliness.
Okay.
How married are you, my love?
I am so married. I think I talked about this already, but
the trampoline?
No. Not the trampoline.
Which I am very sorry for laughing and being very rude in the last episode. Please forgive me.
Well, actually, I didn't. I forgive you. There is. All right. So first of all, I don't even know. You got me nervous to say my how married are you now.
No, don't be nervous.
All right. So on the way to Maryland to the airport, I hit a coyote. Pretty sure I killed that hoe. The thing is about it is I hit it so hard that like when we got back, it had so many issues. Our car had so many issues that it ended up breaking down. Okay. Now, it was my fault, but what I had to go through to get it fixed was crazy because Yvette was like, I want a new treadmill. And I was like, I want a new treadmill too. So we got a new treadmill, a really nice one that inclines, right? So I go drive, where did I go? All the way out to San Bernardino, go get this treadmill. And I put the treadmill into Yvette helped me put the treadmill into the garage. The treadmill is like, I want to say 200 pounds, maybe. It's heavy. It's real heavy.
It's very heavy.
And so I get to the house and I'm trying to back it into the barn, and I end up getting the truck stuck. So the truck is stuck and the van is broken because I hit the coyote and we're having some issues. One of the fans won't turn off and the battery died. So I successfully get the truck to get fixed and get, the tire situated or the brake situated with the truck. The next 2 days later, I had to get the van fixed. But one tow truck driver was amazing. The other tow truck driver was the most irresponsible person I've ever experienced. This dude got lost on the way there. He was supposed to be here at 8 a.m. He didn't get here until 10:30. Mm-hmm. He got the truck. The first thing he did, he was like, "Y'all got any water?" I get him, man. I'm like, "Of course, man." Gave this dude a bottle of water. I get into, he gets the car in the thing. I get into his car. No AC on. The reason why it's no AC on is because he's running out of gas. It was like the most like jacked up situation.
Wait, did he tell you I can't have the AC on because I'm running low on gas? Or
that was an assumption of mine.
Oh, okay.
And mind you, it looks like a hoarder's car. Somebody's hoarder's. Yeah. It looks nasty inside of there.
That's crazy.
And so I'm driving along with this guy, and he didn't even tell me he was running gas. He was just like, "Diesel. I need diesel. Where's the gas station?" And I was like, "Bro, it's like 10 miles. It's like maybe 10 to 15 miles from here." He's like, "I don't know if we're gonna make it." Well, like, ain't that some bull crap? That you come in to save me and you don't even got the gas to get us to where we're going. Gosh. So anyway, I was definitely stressed that day, but I came home and I just filmed and act like nothing happened. It wasn't that big of a deal. You played a game with the kids. Do you remember all this? It was very
spotted game.
Yeah, and I just continued to film and act like nothing was going on. I just kept it cool. And usually I would freak out and I'd be very upset and I would go in lay in the bed and rest. I just kept it moving. That's how married I am.
And
that's just how married we are. You don't approve. You don't approve. What's up, Nine?
Babe, you've forgotten what the married.
I'll circle back.
But you know what? No. I think it's not necessarily about your how married are you statements. It's more so how you say it, because you're supposed to say, "I'm so married that after having a really hard day, I came back and stayed in an even keel."
But I'm trying to paint the picture for the people.
Yeah, you painted the picture, but at some point you have to surmise how married you are. Because I'm still trying to figure out, how did that benefit me?
Okay, usually I would say I'm so married that usually I would have made you feel that. You know what I'm saying? Like I would have.
You shielded me from your frustration.
Yeah, frustration.
You've
right?
shielded me and the kids. I appreciate that.
Yeah, that's how married I am.
Okay, so do you understand what I'm saying? I don't mind the long, drawn out stories with context. Those are good. Mm-hmm. And you should also surmise, because it's a whole thing. I'm so married that. But that didn't have any of that. You forgot the sentence stem.
All right, guys.
And that's just how married we are.